herself. I'd hope to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play the season. I spent hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I'm feeling. I want to thank everyone who has had my back through all this uncertainty. This has been incredibly frustrating, but even in the bad, there is good. And the way the fans continue to show up for me and for the Fever brought me so much joy and important perspective. I'm so proud of how this team has only gotten stronger through adversity this year. Now it's time to close out the season.
That was the moment. That was the trigger. That wasn't just a heartbreaking announcement from Caitlin Clark. It was the signal that started a revolution. Disappointed isn't a big enough word, she said. And with those words, a fan base that felt betrayed, lied to, and manipulated for months finally decided to get even. The story they don't want you to know isn't about a simple injury. It's about how this one statement, this final honest word from their hero, triggered a mass revenge tour that is currently bringing the WNBA to its knees. They thought they could silence the truth, but they forgot about the fans. And now, the league is collapsing in real time, and we have the receipts. Stick with me, because I'm going to show you how the fans and the media are getting their ultimate revenge, and why this was all part of a plan the WNBA should have seen coming. The revenge didn't start in a boardroom. It started in the hearts of every fan who watched Caitlin Clark get physically abused on the court all of last season. They saw the flagrant fouls, the cheap shots, the targeting. They begged the league to protect its most valuable asset, the one player who single-handedly made the WNBA relevant for the first time in its history. But the league did nothing. They let it happen. That was the first betrayal. The second, and the one that truly lit the fuse for this explosion of revenge, came from inside Clark's own house, the Indiana Fever front office. Fans watched in horror as the organization they were supposed to trust seemingly mismanaged Clark's health.
Indiana Fever will be either a first-round exit or may not make the playoffs. I really believe that Mystics game is a trap game. Also, I don't know if they have all the pieces anymore now with Chloe Bibby out for the rest of the season, another random player, but we drafted her. We kind of know her, but still, she wasn't part of the team for the majority of the season. And then Aerial Powers and Odyssey Sims and Shea Petty. Who are these people? You know what I'm saying? The Indiana Fever are no longer the Indiana. Clark was hurt after that Liberty game. That's when they should have said, we need to wait this out until the All-Star break. But instead, they worried about their ticket sales, TV ratings, and all this stuff. So they actually had Caitlin Clark come back a couple weeks earlier than expected, and I think that's the real reason why she's out. They mismanaged this entire season. I don't respect the GM. I don't respect the president anymore. I really don't respect the coach. They all lied on false pretense. That's all they did. They kept lying and lying and kept stringing Caitlin Clark like a carrot on a string, and all these fans kept going to the game.
And when the season finally ended for her, the rage was nuclear. They knew who to blame. A complete train wreck. Scammed us. A liar. These aren't just whispers. This is the roar of a fan base that feels utterly betrayed. They're not just pointing fingers at a vague entity. They're naming names. Stephanie White, Amber Cox, Kelly Krauskopf. They believe this front office, the very people tasked with protecting a billion-dollar talent, lied to them. And why? Why would they risk their franchise player, their golden goose? The answer is always the same: money. Fans are convinced this was never about what was best for Caitlin's health. They worried about their ticket sales, TV ratings, and all this stuff. That's the motive. That's the core of this betrayal. The theory circulating among fans isn't just speculation anymore. It's becoming accepted fact. The front office knew Clark was seriously hurt after that Liberty game, but they couldn't afford to put her on the shelf. Not with ticket sales soaring and TV networks building their entire schedule around her. So, they allegedly pushed her back too soon, leading to a cascade of injuries that ultimately cost her the season. They kept dangling the carrot, the hope of her return to keep the money flowing. This is where the revenge truly begins. Because fans decided if the league and the team only care about money, then that's where they would hit them. The result has been an economic collapse so swift and brutal it's sending shockwaves through the entire sport. When Clark was playing, tickets for a game against the Chicago Sky were going for as much as $393. After her injury, you could get in for as low as $7. That's not a dip, that's a demolition. The Washington Mystics moved their game against the Fever to a larger arena in Baltimore just to handle the expected Clark crowd, but when she was ruled out, prices crashed from $41 to just $22. Teams were left holding the bag for games nobody wanted to see anymore. This is financial revenge, executed with devastating precision by a fan base that refuses to be lied to. They feel they were strung along, and honestly, the evidence is damning. Stringing fans along the whole time. Think about it. For weeks, all we got were vague updates and non-answers. The team kept reporting she was trying to get back on the court right up until the end, even when they only had 3 games left. It was a charade designed to keep hope alive and wallets open. But the fans are smarter than that. They saw the deception for what it was. And Clark's final, heartbreaking announcement was the proof they needed. She was the one who finally told the truth. And in doing so, she gave every betrayed fan permission to walk away for good. The beautiful, terrible irony in all of this is that the league brought this on itself. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert once smugly claimed the WNBA could survive if any one player got injured. That arrogance, that dismissal of Clark's unprecedented impact, is exactly why this revenge feels so justified. For decades, the WNBA was a niche sport fighting for scraps of attention. Then Caitlin Clark arrived, and suddenly everyone knew the league existed.
I've got a couple of things. I've got my dude, Jason Whitlock, saying he's done. He's out. We've got Colin Cowherd saying, you know what? Guess what I didn't talk about on my show this year? The WNBA. Guess why? He just come out and said it yesterday. Because Caitlin Clark was not playing. That's why. He said, I led my show, my biggest, largest national sports radio show in the country. I led my show with Caitlin Clark 6 times last year. I mean, you don't lead a show with anybody.
People didn't even know it existed until CC22. That's not an insult. It's a fact. An entirely new audience tuned in for one reason and one reason only: Caitlin Clark. Her games didn't just get slightly better ratings. They largely surpassed anything else going on in the WNBA. The league didn't build this momentum. They were gifted it. And how did they repay that gift? By failing to protect her, and by a front office allegedly lying to the very fans who made them relevant. So when those fans walk away, it's not just a protest. It's them taking back the power and attention they brought to the league in the first place. Now, we're at the climax, the final, most brutal stage of the revenge. It's not just fans abandoning their tickets. It's the entire sports media landscape turning its back on the WNBA, declaring it dead on arrival without Clark. This is the part that has league executives in a full-blown panic. Because when the tastemakers, the people who control the national conversation, decide you're irrelevant, you cease to exist. This is the kill shot. Jason Whitlock says the WNBA is dead. But the most damning evidence comes from Colin Cowherd, host of one of the biggest sports radio shows in the country. He admits openly that he hasn't talked about the WNBA this year. Why? Because Caitlin Clark was not playing. He led his show with her 6 times last year. This year, silence. This is the revenge of the media. They were sold a superstar, a cultural phenomenon. And when the league couldn't keep that product on the floor, the media just changed the channel. They're not going to prop up a league that squandered its once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They are actively walking away, and in doing so, They are erasing the WNBA from the public consciousness. The collapse is complete. What was supposed to be a historic season has become a cautionary tale. The WNBA's entire empire was built on one person's shoulders, and they let those shoulders get broken. Caitlin Clark's final word wasn't just an injury update, it was a judgment. It was the moment she stepped away and let the league collapse under the weight of its own arrogance and greed. The empty seats, the plummeting ratings, the media blackout, this is justice. This is the ultimate revenge on a system that saw her as a product to be sold rather than a person to be protected. But here's the question that should be terrifying everyone at WNBA headquarters. The revenge for the 2025 season is happening now, but what about the revenge that comes next? There are rumors of a potential lockout, meaning there might not even be a 2026 season for her to return to. And what happens when Caitlin Clark is finally healthy? Will she want to return to a front office that so many believe betrayed her trust? The fans have made their move. The media has made their move. The entire foundation of the league is crumbling. Clark's final word may have ended her season, but it might have just ended the WNBA as we know it. And the scariest part is, there are still secrets inside that front office that haven't seen the light of day. And you know I'll be the one to find them.